Perfect. So, Spot, I was introducing you before you came. Let's see how good a job I can do. So what I know about Spot is Spot used to be a like first a guest and then even possibly a co-host on Talking in Stations back in the day. Is that right, Spot?
Um, of sorts, yeah. It was something that kind of happened by accident. I think it was just one day they were, "Hey, we got a show and nobody's gonna host it, so somebody's got to do it."
Yeah.
Um, and got involved in that way. I think that's kind of partly how we met, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to hang out. I used to listen to Talking in Stations a lot. Used to hang out in their Discord and yeah, I think that's where we met as well. And then I know there was a fan fest a couple of years ago where we hung out. I saw you in
Yeah,
person
yeah.
there, and I don't think have you been back since to fan fest?
I haven't. It's not necessarily for like a lack of wanting to. It's just life
Yeah,
has been very lifey the last few years.
life keeps getting lifeier, man. This that's just, it happens.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially after the experience of last time. Anyway, when we all got COVID, that was great.
Dude, I don't know if you know, but like I've gotten COVID twice, and both times from Iceland. It's
But it's the
just
same here. The only time
those.
I've got it was FanFest.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, probably from me, dude. That's just how it is. You survived. um, yeah. So, having said that, I think you took some time off in the last few years, and then you came back maybe a few weeks or a month ago. Did you come back specifically because Highsec Buyback died, or were you back anyway, and this just happened?
Oddly enough, yeah, it actually is pretty much the Isaac buyback. So if I give you a little background, I sort of dropped off the last couple of years just because I'd been running an alliance that sort of had become a mining alliance by accident. Um, got kind of sick of it, and I'd gotten to this point where I don't know whether you've had this experience, but when you're running a group like that, it becomes that every time you log in, you feel like you need to be doing something for the group,
Yeah,
and so it kind of it ruins the game for you because you can't do anything and goof around and shoot spaceships without feeling guilty. So I
yeah.
managed
I
to
mean,
finally
there's so
wind
many
that
things
down.
that ruin the game like that. I
Yeah.
I mean, even streaming or CSM or like I do so many things that are not actually just playing the game and just logging on and doing something, which you have to be very very careful about adding too many of those things because that is what really kills the game for anyone, I think. But sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I managed to finally wind that down. I escaped the chains. Um, and I just kind of started to find that I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I always wanted to make some kind of interesting third party tool. That's definitely been my background. Um, ironically, my current job actually, I demoed a Eve tool in the interview, and that's kind of how I got the job.
Nice, always
um,
good.
that was that was a major component of it. Um, but that's always been the thing I liked about the game. But just to say, time, inspiration just wasn't in the place, so I drifted off for a couple of years. The high sec buyback ping came out, and I thought I have been wanting to do that for so long. And it's the thing with the buybacks is it feels like if you're not the one, then like what's the point? I don't want to be like too pessimistic, but when you had a titan like high sec buyback who really were doing a hell of a job, covered everyone and everything, everybody knew about them. Um, what can you do to come in swinging and take them out? And well, I
It's
don't think there's a lot
interesting
you
you
can
say
do.
that though, because like I don't know if you remember. I'm pretty sure you were active when they came up. When they came up,
Mhm.
the guy was he came on my show when they had nothing. Like he came on my show and he
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, can we advertise the tool?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. What are you doing?" And then I think that I even had two of my earliest podcast episodes had him as a guest on,
Absolutely.
and um and I to be honest, like I thought, hey, that's nice, but yeah, Lord Broomfell in chat is saying, was he on the Oz tank? He might have been on the Oz tank even, possibly, but I think this was even before then. And I think I didn't think at the time that he was going to actually be the number one tool or make it in the way that he did. And so hats off to him. I would have just thought he would have burnout way earlier, because I think they were still doing a lot of manual things in the beginning, and then it just became just so incredibly tedious. So yeah,
Mm.
Rihan, there he is. He's in chat. Look at that. He's the
Aaron's a
owner.
great dude.
I've
He's
not
been really
been on the
helpful.
Oztang. That was before. I think you were my second or third podcast guest, Rihan. Something like that. Yeah, good to see you, man.
He's been kind of nurturing the squabble, as you said earlier, helping us all fight it out.
Yeah, Rihan, do you have a favorite? Or is it, I'm putting
You
you on
can't
the
ask
spot.
that. That's
Spot.
not fair.
Yeah. No, he's saying it's so lovely to see all the projects, so that's good. Okay. Well, anyway, Spot, continue. So yeah, TIS was a connection. Then you were
Mm.
gone. You came back because Rian quit
'Cause it was
his
sort of
tool.
it's the alignment of things, you know, when there's an opportunity, I actually have time now that my new job has settled down. I actually
Hmm.
have something resembling free time. Um, I say it's a buyback is actually something I want to do for ages. Ironically, the first thing I did in Eve in 2013 when I first started playing properly was set up a buyback. Um,
Yeah,
it's something I've
I've
been doing for
tried
a
that
long
as
time,
well.
weirdly.
It's cool. Yeah, it's a good
It's,
idea. Yeah, it's nice. It's overall it's like the epitome of like wholesale and
mm.
economies of scale, and it's just cool.
I kind of like
I
I
get it.
enjoy the tech side of it. Because I was doing it in Brave Space. The sort of edge that I managed to get out was this was back when Eve Praisal was the main thing, and I took a copy of Eve Praisal, um, tweaked it around to do what I needed it to do, and then the way Brave Space worked back then, there was like 10, 12, 13 different buybacks operations, and I was the cheeky guy who programmed everyone else's pricing algorithm into my algorithm.
Hmm.
And then I would show you prominently, hey, we beat this guy by this much and this guy by that much. So I managed to like corner the market back there. But that was when I had no idea what I was doing, and I was doing it all just exporting through HeadGP and a Badger, um,
Yeah.
to the point where what I used to do, because you were permanently war decked, is I would go into Kebbers, the system next door, warp to a safe, eject from my Badger, and then get my alt to jump into it and fly it the rest of the way to Cheetah. I don't know how I never got ganked doing that, but I did it for years.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but
But no,
I'm gonna guess you lost a few badgers.
um, only one, I think, actually. One or two.
All right, you got lucky there.
I I walked onto a perch once above the gate, not realizing that the PL fleet was sat there, and that didn't go very well. Um, but I survived relatively well. But no, the sort of technical fascination that I sit there on a train, I'm going to work these days, is trying to figure out ways to uh, make make things work in Eve, in the sense of applying real world, not just technical concepts, but like,
Hmm.
I think they sound really stupid, but if I would directly reference what I've built with JitaRun, it's kind of applying a little bit of the, what do they call it in America? DoorDash kind of thing, trying to
Hmm.
make like a gig economy, that little tasks. So I'm trying to compartmentalize everything,
Hmm.
but doing it within the Eve universe is a little bit more difficult because you've got the technical limitations of like how you can pay people, how you can monitor, what's where. Like the biggest sort of obviously hurdle there is payment, and that's kind of one of the things that JitaRun is trying to do differently. But
Hmm.
yeah, so I started putting together JitaRun, which is kind of the culmination of many, many years of silly ideas that are finally actually taking some kind of technical form. Although frustratingly, it's the bit I wanted to demo is not behaving right now. So I have screenshots of it, so we can demo that in a second,
Okay.
indirectly. But anyway, so for anyone that's not aware of what a buyback is, it's essentially just a service where you take a bunch of stuff that you've got. Let's say you've been missioning off somewhere, about the other side of the universe, 50 jumps from Jupiter, and you just want to sell it. Well, you can either fly 50 jumps to Jupiter and sell it and manage the orders, or you can give your items over to a buyback service who'll give you like an instantaneous price, pay you, off you go. That's nothing new. That's not. Um, I'm not reinventing the wheel on that side of things. Although JitaRun does have a little bit of a novel pricing structure. Most, if not all, buybacks in the past usually they do something like we pay 90% of Jita's buy price or something like
Hmm.
that, and they maybe have a fixed shipping fee. But the way JitaRun works is instead, harking back to the high sec buyback days. Um, it's a little bit of a tangent, but it's relevant. One of the things that high tech buyback had was they had sort of an internal channel where when there was large amounts of goods they were struggling to shift, they had like an internal circle of buyers. And so
Yeah,
I was
I
one of
remember that.
those. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I was one of those guys. I'd take in, 70, 80 billion of various goods a week and try and liquidate them. So what I developed was my own little pricing tool that let me liquidate those things reliably and quickly. So now I've taken that tool, integrated it into JitaRun. So instead of basing off the buy price, what I'm actually giving as a base price is essentially a number that the tool is confident that we can shift this item at within the next 30 days. So
Hmm.
it looks at the historical price, it looks at the current order book, it looks at the quantity you're providing, and basically tries to figure out what's a safe, reasonable price. Um, which is almost always, to be honest, it's usually somewhere between like the Jita split and Jita sell price, and then obviously we apply a margin to that because
Hmm.
someone's going to make money. Um, and then the other side of it is the shipping. Most places, again, they usually say like it's 100, that 100 ISK per meters cubed or whatever. But here, we've taken essentially PushX, Red Frog, GHSOL. Is that how they? Is it?
Yeah.
Galactic Hauling, Shipping, and Logistics. I can't remember. Beacon Boys, their service, and also the haulers channel public pricing. Taken all of those algorithms, applied that to it, so the actual shipping cost is a realistic shipping cost. There's a good reason for that, which is because the whole secret sauce special trick of JuicerRun is it's entirely decentralized in terms of who is managing the contracts. So in a traditional setup, you'd have someone like Rihan and his little team of very
Hmm.
dedicated guys because they were seriously on it, considering how quickly they'd accept contracts. Who'd be monitoring your contract queue, accepting the contracts with a shared trusted pool of cash, and then dealing with them. The difference with JitaRun is literally anybody can drop into the corporation, check a validated contract, and accept it, and then move it on. So they get access to a UI that says, "Here's this contract. It's verified through our system. If you bring the contents of this contract to Jita and drop it off in our corporation hangar, you will automatically be credited this amount." It gives you a breakdown of how much you're going to
Hmm.
get paid, um, with the intention being that that amount you get paid is the calculated shipping fee. So it's a fair shipping fee because it's based on realistic market rates plus a share of the expected profit.
So
So it
when you
becomes
told me this last week, right? When I first heard of that concept, my initial challenge was, well, aren't you forfeiting the economies of scale there? Because I always figured the biggest advantage of a high sec buyback service is that you can buy, then you can pool, and then you can do all of the logistics at scale. And aren't you forfeiting that by having these fractured contracts all over the place? Or am I misunderstanding the concept?
I'm not sure. It could be a misunderstanding because the blocks of items are handled by individuals. If somebody essentially wants to work within the system and accept 100 contracts and pool their logistics in that sense, they're more than welcome to. Um, but generally, I found that the economies of scale in terms of logistics doesn't really help that much. Like if you've got, let's say you've got 100 of your own haulers, all I'm really doing is creating a proxy for the collateral system that's currently in the game. Because obviously, currently, if I'm accepting a little bit of titanium here, a little bit of titanium there, a little bit of titanium somewhere else, that still all needs to get pulled into one place and moved. Otherwise, it's going to sit there forever, and that's now dead stock, and I've wasted my money.
Hmm.
If I've completely lost what I was saying because the dog was distracting me. Uh,
Well, I mean, what I was trying to get at was the um. So, am I understanding it right that somebody sells you a some loot somewhere in high
Sure.
sec, 10 jumps from Jita because they don't want to fly there. They just want to drop it off, get 90%, Jita buy
Mhm.
price, whatever, and run.
Yeah.
They create a contract to JitaRun, and then anyone that is in the JitaRun Corp can accept this contract and run with it, or is there a step in between?
No, there's no step in between.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
the title we're going with for the moment is runners. So those are the people that can
Mm-hmm.
join the corporation. The the corporation side of thing, it's open door. You can come and go as you please. There's no requirements or anything like that. It's just a unfortunate mechanical requirement of the game to be in the corporation to see the contracts. So our runner comes along. He can accept the contract. He's now functionally purchased those goods. So at that point, yeah, they can keep them. They can run off. They can do whatever they want. They can also recontract them for a courier, so they could hire push-X to move them to Juta, for example. They could do whatever they like. Um, the value that not doing that of not keeping it is that JitaRun has promised you a fixed price that is going to be naturally better than the duty buy post taxes, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So there is always an incentive of it to instead of just keeping those items to actually bring them to Juta. That's why I sort of said it's kind of a proxy for a courier contract because the collateral is the fact that they have purchased the items, and the reward is the inflated rate that JitaRun will pay them once they drop off the goods at the destination. So it's a courier contract in all but name.
So you're basically the hauler's channel in an app.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And uh, how are you spreading the profits? So the profits then are entirely on the runners. The runners profit from the price, or
So
the buy price goes through the corp and you pay them a fee.
it's so they take the items to Jita, they drop them off in a dedicated container that is assigned to them.
Mm-hmm.
That lets us through ESI verify that they've dropped the right stuff off in the right place.
Okay.
Now we create a transaction that says we owe this person the price of the contract that they originally paid for, plus the shipping, plus a share of the profit, which is a fixed pre-calculated thing. Um, and then I take those goods and liquidate them the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
So the profit that the courier gets paid is sort of locked in at the moment the actual original contract is created. That's not really a concern for them in that sense.
And if I'm selling something to you as a player, as a
Mhm.
customer, then I'm not getting my money immediately. I'm getting it later.
Well, you are, yeah, because you've created a contract to sell your pile of titanium stuck on a high-sec island to JitaRun.
Mm-hmm.
When when the runner comes along and accepts that contract, that runner is paying with their own personal money to you, the customer.
Okay. Now we're talking. Okay. So you need runners that are liquid and
Hmm, yes, but
yeah,
that's no different to a courier contract because you
true.
need the money to cover the collateral.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you want to give us a demo?
I can show you a couple of things, sure.
I have the stream can now see your screen, so be careful.
Uh-oh. Sure, so I can just show you that this is the main page, and people have seen things like this a million times before. So if I just say I want to put some titanium, and I've got 69,420, whatever, bet that many titaniums.
Yeah.
I'm going to enter where they are. This is something that does actually differ us from most uh, options, is that we require a location. This is
Mm-hmm.
because we want to get the shipping rate correct, because that's not a profit thing for my end. That's so that the runners get paid properly. Because if we're not paying, if we're not taking a high enough shipping rate, people are not going to want to accept the contract. People are not going to want to do the job. You can choose not to enter, and you can just pick a sort of a default option, which will essentially just max out the. It defaults to a 50 jump route for whatever security status you pick. So if we just pretend it's in high sec, so it's probably somewhere in MR, click through. Everything's pretty normal here. This is your typical buyback workflow, right? Say everyone's seen this a trillion times. I can show you a little bit behind the curtain. We can show the secret prices that are going on. The main one here probably being the platform margin that's of interest. This is the expected profit for selling 1 unit of this item, as in once it gets to Jita, we expect to make this much more on it. And then of that platform margin is actually what will go to the runner on top. So as I say earlier, I was working on the contract matching system, which is not behaving, but I do have screenshots of it. So I'm just going to snap those. They should work. There we go. So this is a work in progress. This is what the runner will see. So here's a bunch of ammo that I tested with an alt, ran through the system. You can see in the top left, the runner profit. So this is what they are going to receive for dropping off this batch of items into Jita. You can see it's broken down into the shipping, the profit share, and then the bonus, which we can get into later. Ignore that these numbers are kind of goofy, kind of small. It literally is just a random pile of crappy ammunition I was testing with, and it was a couple of days ago. But
Can you say
and then
in
you can also
percent,
go on.
in percent, like what's like in percent of total contract value or item
So that
value? Like how much are you paying out
how much am I paying out to the
the
runners?
runners? Yeah.
Right. So the way the runners get paid. So if we just do the math, so you see my mouse? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we can see your
Or not?
mouth. Yeah.
Well, so they get paid the contract price, which in this case is what the runner pays himself upfront for the contract. They get paid that plus the shipping plus the profit share. So the math with the profit share, that is the amount. I'm really bad at math sometimes. So profit is contract price plus shipping minus. I've lost it now. Right. The amount that I will sell the goods for, let's say in this case it was 3 million. The profit amount is essentially the 3 million minus the contract price, minus shipping, minus tax. So that is just to raw traditional profit. So from my perspective as the operator of JitaRun, it is the profit that if I didn't have to pay the couriers, I would have gotten if I'd have just hired it out to PushX or whatever else. So
Okay, and
that's essentially the margin. That's the actual markup at the end. And then what the runner gets paid is 40% as a base of that
okay.
markup.
Right. So you're being transparent to the runner in terms of how much they're getting of the total profit.
Yeah, so they get 40% of the total profit of each individual item.
But they also get the shipping cost because they're actually shipping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because they're
And the
functioning as a
shipping
courier.
cost is comparable to like Red Frog.
Yes, yeah, it's directly calculated off them.
Okay. All right. And some questions from chat.
Sure.
What would be the average acceptance time for contracts? Well, you don't know that yet, yeah? Ooh,
It's
CCP just
it's
read it.
difficult
Thank
to
you,
say.
Amy. I think Amy was the. I think Amy was streaming on CCP. Welcome, Amy and everyone else. And CCP Monty, what's up, dude? Good to see you. We have Spot as a guest, and we are looking at one of the contenders for high sec buyback. It's called JitaRun, and Spot was explaining. Hey,
Yeah, it's a
good to see you.
it's a little goofy to get your head around, but I think once you get it, it starts to make sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But so we were taking questions from chat. The question was average acceptance time, and contract acceptance time, and you're basically in testing mode, right? So you don't know what it's going to be on
Yes.
live,
So
but what are you expecting?
the target is sub 1 hour. I think it's quite achievable to get way less than that. Um, the validation of contracts is less than 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes, because that's how often we can check the API.
Hmm.
So we can validate your contract. Obviously, then becomes the question of, is somebody around that is going to look at your contract like they look at the one on screen and say, it's worth my time to pick that up and move it. Um, Obviously, that entirely depends on how many people are signed up to the service and operating. Um, the
You're not able to
other
pay a
side,
bonus,
oh,
right? So like I would imagine that it if it takes too long to fill, like you would want to pay the runners more the
yeah, I've
longer it
been
takes, but you can't really do that because this is a contract that comes directly from the customer, right?
Yeah, and I've been really sort of trying to think through that problem in my head of how do we incentivize picking up the contract sooner? Because if I pay you more because the contract, because I can pay you a bonus literally, because while the price that the customers put it up for is fixed, the way the duty run system works is I could technically pay you more once you drop things off. Um, but would I want to do that? Because if I pay you more for contracts that have been up too long, that actually incentivize you to leave them open longer,
Hmm.
and so that the price goes up, right?
Yeah, but if they're good, then a runner should be snatching them up. But I guess it all comes down to how many runners are there going to be? Are people going to like this?
Sure.
Rihan and chat, the HSBB founder, is saying that he thinks 1 hour is achievable with your open door policy for runners. I think in the end, I mean, we said this earlier. It's it's kind of comparable to the hauling channel, and in the hauling
Yeah.
channel, I almost always get my contracts filled immediately. It's very active, and people aren't very price sensitive. So I think
Oh, yeah.
what you're trying to hook into is the same type of oversupply of people wanting to haul things in EVE Online. I think people always underestimate the number of people that will haul stuff for cheap in even EVE
Mhm.
Online, and that's what you're hooking
But
into, right?
yeah, and I like to think paying them very well, although what's on screen is not a very good example. We did the math earlier, so it was a contract for, just a big pile of ore from what I remember. I think it was like a 1.5, 2 billion of ore,
Yeah.
and it was, better a solid freighter full of ore from Amar to Jita.
Hmm.
At the base, rate that it was offering, um, the a recommended price that Haulers Channel recommends was something like 20, no, what was it? 60, 70 million. It worked out to about a million ISCA jump. Um, then when it was run through JitaRun, the courier was being paid about 200, 240 million, which is
Yeah.
closer to 4 or 5 million a jump. It was
And
significantly higher.
look, I wish people in the haulers channel would actually take what they're suggesting. People will run stuff for a lot less than the suggested price in theirs. Like I know this from firsthand experience. So
Oh,
if
I
you're
use
paying them
that
more
too.
than that, yeah, then you're gonna be good. But there's some comments and I think good ideas in chat that I think Spot either you've thought about
Mhm.
already or you could implement. Somebody said earlier, and it already flashed by in the raid chat, but somebody asked about incursions. Like, how are you going to deal with current incursions that are going on because they're going to have an impact on hauling rates?
Um, so the way it's not directly dealt with, it's sort of passively dealt with in the sense that, um, there are two solutions. One, once a contract has been accepted, so once the runner has picked it up, they have 2 weeks to bring it to JITA, so they can take their time to wait out any incursions or things like that.
Right.
And then the other side of it, we have myself, and a couple of, sort of trusted operators as providers of last resort, shall we say. So that kind of deals with the time issues as well. If a contract is sitting for too long, because let's say it's stuck behind an incursion or for some reason nobody wants to take it, I
Maybe it's
personally will
tiny.
accept it and ship it. Yeah, so the tiny ones, that's actually a good little segue. This links into the little bonus number that appears there. Because one of the problems you've got is, let's say you want to sell your loot to JitaRun and you've only got like 5 mil worth,
Mhm.
a decent little haul for a newer player. If you put that into JitaRun, you would have gotten zero because the cost to ship that is going to be 10,
Mhm.
20 mil minimum. So what we've instead implemented is a scaled shipping rate for those smaller amounts so that you will always get offered something and it should be a decent amount. But now you think now we've got the problem of, well, the courier's not going to want to ship that for 500,000 ISK. So the way resolve that is instead the courier gets paid the standard amount for that contract, as it was calculated, but they are offered bonus points. The bonus points are based on the amount the shipping should have been if it wasn't scaled for the small contract, plus a multiplier. And then the way those points work, once you've now redeemed them, because you're going to do the smaller, less desirable contracts to gain points, you redeem the points against other contracts for an additional 20% of the profit share later on. So you can get up to 60% of the profit share by redeeming points directly against it. Does that make
Uh,
sense?
It makes sense. I mean, one of if I were running it, I think the tiny contracts, and let's say I don't know anything below 5 million, 10 million, something, whatever, I
Mm.
would just auto accept and just leave them there. Like,
That's fine by me because the customer's
like
still happy.
yeah, like auto accept, leave them there, and they will pile up. At some point, you go haul them, but like they will never have a significant impact on your bottom line. So unless somebody starts messing with you and puts up 1,000 tiny contracts, then I would just leave it.
Yeah.
Um,
I see somebody mentioned it. It sounds complicated, but from the runner side of things, it's kind of not because you'll just have this interface. You'll have a list of contracts. Some of them will offer bonus points. If you want more bonus points to buff up your payments later on, you do those ones. If you don't care, you don't care. Um, but there is
Sven
also like a something planned if you want to go on. Sorry.
Sven has a good point in chat. He says, "Can you do a contract monthly leaderboard?" I think if you did a runners leaderboard, I'm sure you're going to do that. You have to do that because I think that's going to be the main draw
Yeah, I
for
think it's a
this.
legal
Like people
requirement.
people don't care about anything, but if you make a leaderboard, that's like back in the Eve. It wasn't Eve Tycoon. What was it? Eve. What was the leaderboard in traders in Eve?
Oh, I know the one.
Yeah, do you know
Mogul.
Eve
Mogul had one.
Mogul? Like Eve Mogul. It was all about the leaderboard. Like nobody cared about
Well,
anything anymore. It's like I don't care about the actual trillion that I made. I care about like that leaderboard, and that's
on
what.
the topic of leaderboard,
Yeah.
in the first month, although leaderboard is something that is planned, but for the first month, what the plan is the runner that gets the most bonus points will receive a prize in the first month, which is currently some very cool sunglasses, a Sharon freighter, and then but likely a month of Omega as well
Nice.
as the first prize, first place prize, and we might have some other additional prizes afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's.
it
I think that's
throws
that's
some toys
probably
at
the
people.
make or break thing. Yeah, that's what you got to do.
On
um.
the other part of that, more free stuff. Um, all new runners for the first couple of months until I decide to turn it off will also get 250 million of bonus points initially as well. So they'll get that 60% rate for quite a few contracts.
Okay. Free ships, maybe. You could offer them.
We want to
Or
look into that. We want to look into onboarding people. Well, the bonus, obviously, of the bonus points is that's not directly immediate cash out my pocket.
yeah.
But I do like the idea of, particularly with those like smaller contracts, if we can create an onboarding path for the newer players that just want to haul in their T1 Badger, and pick up small contracts and fly
Yeah,
around.
I think that's what you got. You
You
got
want
to
a way people to do
advertise
that.
in the haulers channel. You gotta make sure there's some sort of path for new players coming in that know nothing, that you run them through like some sort of runner training program or something, because
Yeah, exactly.
they're like that's a path that people understand. Like, here,
Mm.
you can be a space hauler, you can make some money,
Well,
and then based on that you can do other stuff in Eve.
what's kind of interesting about this is because it's not just one career path. So if I go to my totally unfinished marketing site, you can see these three options on the left. You've accepted the contract. What do? You can deliver it. You can also sit in Jita, never undock, and just make the money by accepting the contracts, recontracting them as couriers at the rate that you were told is the best rate to do it at,
Right.
and cash in when it arrives.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're offering different ways to do this. Um, the other part of it is also it is flexible. So if you have a look at
But if
this is one of the
but don't
breakdowns.
I have to drop
Well,
it off in Jita in that special container?
you do, but so let's say you're the guy that doesn't want to actually do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You
That
accept the
sounds like me.
contract. You accept the contract. You get pushX to ship that stuff to Jita, and then you have your Jita role who just drops it in the box, and then
Oh yeah.
ka-ching.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's no time limit for the box.
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we don't
Yeah.
want to leave it forever because the price might shift, and the price has been guaranteed at the day that it was created.
What
Then the other side of
happens
the
if
go
you
on,
don't?
nothing. I don't care.
But what happens if I don't put it in the box within the 2 weeks? Then what? Do I get negative points? What?
You don't get paid for the thing.
I don't get paid for the thing, but I have the stuff. Yeah.
You
So
keep it, yeah,
yeah,
it's yours because
yeah,
you have
I
technically
paid for
bought
it.
it at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time it's your stuff.
Yeah.
Do with it as you wish. Um, which is why this sort of breakdown of the per item. The reason we're breaking it down per item is because if you've accepted this example contract and you wanted to keep the nanite repair paste, keep it. Deliver the other items, and you'll get the per item value. Like do what you want. Keep as much as you want. Um, shift all of it, none of it, some of it, whatever you like.
Yeah. Rihan mentions freelance jobs. It's true. This sounds kind of freelance jobby. Can you use freelance jobs for this?
I had a look at freelance jobs, and there's none really that I can directly use. There was a thought of if, for example, they open up the ability to create freelance jobs to the new delivery job. If I can create those through
Mm-hmm.
ESI, obviously I can create a bunch of jobs that says deliver the actual things directly to Jita, and I can pay you directly instantaneously that way. Um, sort of two problems with that though. It's one type per uh,
Yeah.
freelance job. So
Ah, yeah.
this example would spawn
Can't do it.
11 freelance jobs, and now
Yeah.
you've got to drop off 11 things and 11 holes, and
It's
yeah,
super annoying. No, I can't do that.
and the base fees make, for example, this I think it's like 100,000 to create a freelance job or something like that.
Yeah. Kills it.
It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unfortunately way too much in terms of tax.
Yeah. And it sounds like you don't really need it if you keep it in corp. But that would then relieve you from the necessity to have the all the people in the corp, right? If you did freelance jobs,
Um,
I guess.
it wouldn't because you still have to be in the corp to see the contracts to accept them in the first place. Unfortunately,
And put it in the box, probably.
yes.
She
But
puts
in
it in the
terms of putting
box.
in the
He puts
box,
the lotion in the basket is all I can think about. But hey,
put the goods in the
yeah,
box.
you
Yeah,
put the thing in the box.
I I have a
Yeah.
few weird ideas relating to the boxes, but
Okay.
as
Are they? Are they rated?
there's no lotion involved.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. What's
You
the
know,
ideas?
one of the ideas actually is because you've got these boxes coming in and they're filling with all sorts of random goodies coming in from the runners. Um, I've got ESI. I know what's in the box. And the way those boxes work is they are passworded containers that have permissions set up so that anyone can put things in, but only people with the password can take things out, right?
Hmm.
So if I store a password in a database and I tell you what's in the box, if you like what's in the box, you send me the money, I give you the password, you empty the box, you get the stuff. Sort of like a self-service buy the stuff. I'm not sure how popular that would be. It was just a side
Right.
idea I had at one point. But
Okay. Yeah.
but the one piece we're missing, I'm surprised nobody's asked about this
Well,
because it's kind
somebody
of an
just asked
obvious
about
hole.
abyssal modules. I don't know. Is that
Visual
one?
modules, they are kind of valued at 0 because it doesn't detect them at the moment.
Yeah, you have to
We
singleton.
do price pretty much everything. The only thing we don't price yet is blueprints, which is coming. I am going to price blueprints, including blueprint copies. There will be price offered for them.
I have a
Um,
whole spreadsheet that does that. I love pricing blueprints. It's I love that as a tool. But I do this in Excel, and you will presumably do it in a database.
I certainly hope I don't end up doing it in Excel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's my stuff. That's all I know. Yeah. Okay. Will you blacklist people ganking your runners?
Again.
Oh yeah, there you go. Are you back? Spot. Will you
Yes.
blacklist
Yes.
people
Sorry.
ganking your runners?
No. Why would I?
Oh, it's a question. I'm reading from chat.
There's not really any reason to because it's kind of I hired you. You're the courier. It's kind of your problem.
Yeah. Rihan is asking,
Get
can people just take the box and trash it?
no, because the way the permissions are set up doesn't allow that. Have you ever been in a corporation that had like a shared BPO library? It's the same concept where you can access but not remove the contents.
I
So they
feel
can't remove
like
the contents. They can't remove the box either. It's a thing.
was what didn't this used to be one of your big things, like solving how you can share a BPO library with your corp efficiently? You used to work on that
Yes.
problem a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the early things I figured out. I knew it was possible because I'd seen it done before, but it was one of those like dark arts that everybody had forgotten about or didn't ever talk about publicly.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, just to cover the blueprint thing. So if you want to share your blueprint originals with your buddies in your corporation, but you don't want them to steal them, you can create a corporation hanger. You set the permissions. So don't copy this exactly. Do your own testing. I can't remember it perfectly, but set the permissions so that people can take the contents of containers, but not the containers themselves, and then
Hmm.
set the container to automatically lock things that get put in it. Then you put your blueprints in the container, they get locked, they are now irremovable. And then your buddies can, from the industry interface, access those blueprint originals and create copies and set the output to another hanger where they can access them. So that's how you can share blueprint
Okay.
originals with your friends.
Nice. Yeah. Good inside tip.
That's always been a
Hey,
thing, but
yeah. Will you pick up from NPC stations only? Yes.
for now, there are plans to expand to pretty much any Citadel and Sovnal as well. Because, well,
Risky.
the ultimate answer to that is, well, it's risky and it isn't. So if you sign up as a runner and you've got access to goon staging, why can't you accept the contract? Because you accept the contract on your running character,
Yeah.
you shift the items to your goon character, and then have your goon character get its Jita, give it back to the runner, cash in, job done.
Hmm. Yeah. Could work. Sven is saying this is
Any,
cool, but does Spot expect to make much ISK when this is up and running?
it's
Yeah.
already up and running,
He
except for the runner's part. We've turned over about 400 billion
Spot
so
is just
far.
running. Spot is just running everything himself. It's just
At the moment, I
day and
just
night.
it's not that hard actually. I get a Discord ping with a single button that opens a contract in game, and I click accept because it's all done for me. I don't have to think about it.
That's all over the
Um,
place.
and then I recontract it to a courier. Like it's relatively okay. That's why the sort of runner of last resort being myself isn't really a big deal.
Hmm.
But it's not that much of a problem.
But how many
But I just
runners
kind
do
of
you
want to
have right now?
reduce the amount of time. 0.
Yeah.
That bit's not open to the public yet. It was supposed to be today, didn't quite work out, but it will be soon.
Okay. Cool. Any
Um,
more questions, chat
how much
or
money does it
Spawn?
expect to make?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
there was
mean,
one last thing I wanted to cover because
yeah.
this is the
We can't see your
final.
screen anymore. I don't know if like I don't know if it,
It's my internet. It for some
yeah.
reason in the evening it likes to go poo poo.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing else I can show you anyway at the moment.
All right.
Um, this
Go
is the
talk.
final level. So there's another role that people already familiar with the project have heard of. We're calling financiers. So if you think about it, you've dropped your goods off in that container. Now I can put on my website, I owe you 1 billion ISK. That's all great. But how do you get it? How do you get that 1 billion ISK? That requires me to log in, transfer you the money, right?
Hmm.
Which who knows when I'm going to get around to it. And if you're a courier, you need that money back because you need the collateral so that you can keep doing more jobs.
Yeah.
Um, so the way we solve that is this is a layer that does not require you to be in the corp. So your runner drops off the goods, he gets credited, and he can immediately automatically request payout. That request for payout goes out on a public board where anybody in the game can claim that payout. And what that does is it means they must transfer the requested amount from their personal wallet to the runner's wallet. They then get credited back in the system, the amount that they transferred plus a fee for doing so. And then that person takes on the responsibility of waiting 1, 2 weeks until I come in and clear the backlog of financiers. So it's essentially
Okay.
like a liquidity pool of people who are providing that immediate payout in exchange for a little bit extra.
So you're splitting your profit with even more people.
Yes, but I don't care. Like, yeah, I don't know whether you feel the same way, but like I've had enough money in the game. I don't care that much. I don't like to fly Titans. I don't like to do a bunch of dread balls and brawls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's not important. What I enjoy in this game is making stupid projects and seeing them work. Um, but even then, at the end, I've already done the math. If I pay the couriers the amount we want to pay them, yeah, the runners, sorry, we want to pay the transaction fees. If we want to pay a significant amount to referrals and a significant for an amount to second level referrals, basically worst case scenario, we make break even. In the worst case scenario, we break even. In the best case scenario, we make about 12, 13% on every single contract. So it's going to make a ton of money anyway. Um, and the reality is, my current plan of when I make about 2 million is to buy a Python, put Officer Smart Bombs on it, and undock it in Jita and press all the buttons.
Hmm.
Like I don't need the money. I don't care about the money. And no, I'm not going to RMT because I value this game more than about. And I think what a trillion will get you 5 grand these days. Yeah,
Not with it.
not worth it. No.
Okay. Um. So, who are the financiers?
Anybody. It's just a public list. You want the money, you wanna do the transferring, you do it. You just see the transactions that need doing. You click claim transaction. You
How
do
much
have
will you
to,
pay
hand
financiers?
over 1% is the current plan. We might put more, might less, depends on how the numbers work out.
Hmm.
It's all these the end goal is we're creating these distinct small little tasks that you can do one of, you can do all of, you can do as much as you like.
Yeah, and for that, it would help to be the one buyback tool. Now I know why your why your view is that you've got to be that one tool, because I think a lot of this depends on scaling.
Yeah. If we have 5, 10 runners, it's gonna be too quiet. I think you need a couple hundreds, maybe more.
Yeah.
Well, the ideal is it becomes really ridiculously big, where we have hundreds, if not thousands, of people using it every single day.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it just becomes a typical career option. You can do what you want, or a side job, whatever. A thing to do. More things to do is always good.
Yeah, Uber drivers. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
honestly, honestly, like, what, like the biggest, possibly, if I play devil's advocate, the biggest argument against it is that uh, a, a lot of people in the real world are Uber drivers because they really, really struggle and they need the
Mhm.
money. You know, I mean that like it's a good way to make money, and that's why they are driving Ubers because it's a good way to make money. And
Mhm.
in Eve, you've got to keep things interesting, right? So I think those leaderboards, those bonus points, like I think that's where the magic is because just the
That
hauling,
and
yeah, there's a lot of
paying
people that
well.
want to do paying well. Yeah, sure. Paying well helps. Yeah, paying well helps for sure. But you're never going to be competing with some other things in Eve that will definitely make people more money. But I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
what you have going for you is the fact that right now those people are happy to run it for 1% of collateral or whatever. Like it's uh,
Yeah.
those people aren't right now. They are terribly paid in Eve.
Oh
At
god,
least a
yeah.
lot of them
Have you ever
are.
tried hauling? Like, tried to actually make money with it?
Hell no.
It's you ain't
Why
gonna.
the fuck would I do that? I immediately like from my early days in Eve, I like it's always been like that. Haulers have always hauled for too little. And especially compared to the risk that it takes. And so it you know, the only way to do it well really is at scale, the hauling, because you
Mhm.
can insure, you can absorb losses, etc., etc. But those people doing it on their own with 1% collateral charges, they're just, I mean, they're basically paying for the fact that they like to live out their fantasy, which isn't absurd, right? I mean,
There's nothing wrong with space trucking.
exactly. There's nothing wrong with like people play flight simulator, right? I mean, people play trucking simulator. Uh, you know, this is much cooler than that because it's in a living world. So if you're doing it for free, then it's your thing. Do what you want. But like it also means that like I would never truck any. No, I would never. I don't have that fantasy, but I know a lot of people do, so that's good.
A weird side related thought.
Yeah,
Autopiloting haulers is actually way less risky than people think.
it can work. It can work.
I did an experiment. I ran about 3,000 runs between our MR and Jita autopiloting and tracked every single one
But
in various smaller haulers, but carrying various amounts of goods. How many
is
times do you
this
think I died?
is it pre-Traglavian or post-Traglavian? So
Post. This was like 2 years ago.
okay, out of your three,
0. Didn't die
no,
once.
no.
Didn't die once. I'm not saying do it, but
Were
I'm
they
saying
empty?
the risk is definitely overblown. No, they were T1 haulers with anywhere from like 10 to 20 million each.
Okay, hmm,
Nothing crazy,
interesting.
but
Yeah.
nobody touched it.
Okay, nice. Um, if you can get an established route, minimize the risk, and it's easy money. Yeah, but it's still like if you're getting 1% of collateral, you can't die. Probably depends on the cargo value. Yeah, for sure. But
Is my green shish working again?
yeah,
I was just going to scroll through some shipping costs if you want to see some.
it is
Oh,
working.
sorry
We're
if I
seeing
show
it.
you the name.
Yeah.
So if I pick a random one, there you go. Here's some guy shipping some pyrite from wherever that is.
Hmm.
20 mil for that one. Do 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 do. Fancy thing, 1 mil. Okay, these ones are a bit poo. Maybe not the best examples. How about this big one, 13 billion? 220. Why are these? Why
Can you
is it
see?
always not as good when I want to demo it?
Okay, a shock. He's transferring a Leshak.
Leshak, a Doomsday. Interesting choice, my friend.
5
I see. That's
Typhoons,
why it's
4
so low.
Hyperions. Okay,
Some quite chunky stuff that's not particularly high value apart from Doomsday.
it's huge. Yeah, you're saying
Okay.
it's not lucrative in terms of per cubic meter. Or
Not always, no.
no?
It's well. So to actually reinforce your point earlier, so if we go back to the 13 billion one, 220 million ISK isn't really that much to do all that moving. And this is the amount
2%.
that the public holders channel recommends. That would be their recommended price, which
Yeah,
is pittance.
2%. Yeah.
That's absolutely nothing. But after that comes through the profit share, that's going to be closer to 1 billion, which now you're talking, that's like, not far off 10%, which I think is much better, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Still, I won't say calling is the most profitable thing in the universe, but it's certainly better.
How many jumps can you see? Does it say
Um,
here how many jumps from Jita
Now,
this is?
this is a different view.
Yeah.
The view that will be for the runners will tell them how many jumps and everything else. So it's this one. It's not looking super pretty yet, but you can filter by the amount of collateral you need, the volume you'll need, how many jumps it is, and you'll also be able to automatically get Discord pings for ones that are relevant to you. And you just click
Okay.
one button, it opens it in game for you. So lots of convenient stuff, all kinds of making it nice and easy.
That system is in the Forge, by the way. So it's a very
Is it?
short haul.
That's probably why it's quite so low.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense actually. So 1 billion ISK then for a couple of jumps in the Forge. Good times.
The thing is, like, I even like sometimes I move. Let's say I move. I don't know, 1,000 extractors or something like insanely valuable from
Mhm.
perimeter to Jita, right? And no, it has no volume. There's no
Yeah.
way I'm hauling that. Okay, there's no way, because I can get somebody to haul that for next to nothing. Of course, they have to have a collateral. They have to be rich, etc., etc. But in terms of risk versus reward, just the risk of losing internet connection is makes it not worth it. Like, and I have a fantastically I mean, I'm streaming, right? I don't think I've ever gotten cut off the internet while streaming in the last 2 years since I've moved into this new studio. Like, yeah, see, I knew this. Somebody was gonna say get proper internet. I'm like, even for that, even the 0.1% chance, all right, even that does not make any sense to go and haul that yourself. It makes there's no way in hell it makes sense to haul that, except for what Futility is saying in chat. If you want to feel alive. That's the only reason you should do that, if you need that kick, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to do that.
I found the biggest danger with hauling was just the complacency you get into after a while. The last time I lost a hauler was because I went for a tinkle and left it on gate. And then when I got back to my computer, I had it minimized and I forgot I was doing it.
Yeah,
half an hour later, I hear the hull alarm and go, what's that for?
I think if I wanted that type of gameplay, the like every once in a while I click gameplay, uh, if you turn off that fantasy, but if I wanted that gameplay, I'd rather be mining, or I don't know, probably even
The hauling
Reddit.
can be fun if you
I'm
fit
sure.
for speed. I've had quite many enjoyable journeys with a DST with ascendancies and hyperspatials, of having a Mercurial that you knew scanned you chase you through the gates because you're kind of keeping up with them, and if anything slightly faster, it
Yeah.
becomes this kind of cat and mouse game of them trying to catch you. Can be fun.
The type of hauling I like is finding wormhole connections that are lucrative, and then small ships and kind of speed hauling through there. Like, in that case, I think the feeling like I found a connection that the general public doesn't know about. I like that sort of hauling, just not
True
the
exploration.
yeah true exploration. It's the true exploration fantasy, which I think is a big part of Eve, and I think this whole new exploration site explosion in Null, which is happening because of the solve upgrades for exploration. That's what I think is a problem with that. But that's a tangent that I don't need to discuss now. Hey, anything else? Any questions from chat for Spot before we let him go, or anything you want to show, Spot?
No, here's some numbers I made up earlier, if that helps, because we were struggling to find a good example. But yeah, this page sort of summarized what's going on in terms of the pricing.
That's examples of what you would be getting. So
real
contract value.
data.
Contract value.
So the contract value would be the collateral.
A collateral of $500 million, you would get 30 million total earnings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, but
it just with like Paula's channel, you would have got paid at 17.8 ish.
Yeah, which is about 3%, and you're saying you'll give out more like 5-6%. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with high sec, yeah, it's not as comparable. With the jump freighter again, you end up earning, I'd say, another 50-60% on top of the shipping cost as a minimum. It's going to vary. It's something that's hard to sort of put a fixed number on just because of the nature of it.
Okay, somebody in chat is asking. I'm going to say their name, and I'm not swearing here. I'm just saying their name. I'm going to say fuck nah. This is their name. He says, how do I sign up?
For now, I'd say just drop in the Discord. Once it's launched, there will be a notification quite clearly on the homepage, and you'll just click login, and it will just log you in take you straight to that dashboard. Well, it will take you to this page first, actually, which has got all of the words that you need to know, and you click the big blue button, and then you're in. But that's not available yet.
Is there like, what's the domain? JitaRun.com?
Yes, JitaRun.com. Yeah. There's a Discord link down in the bottom left.
Okay, cool. And the Pius Muse is asking, would you accept 10 billion M3 of titanium?
Oh, don't. I've already done that. I made a mistake last week where the pricing was, the shipping cost wasn't right, and I massively undercharged for shipping. And some very sneaky, astute fellow dumped 20 billion ISK of titanium in a asset safety system on me. And well, a price promise is a price promise, so I gave him his money. But that titanium's not going to go anywhere for a long time.
Nope. That's staying there. Okay. You got to sell it to whoever is controlling that system.
Yeah, I'll get something out of it eventually. But
yeah,
it happens.
I'm sure Rian has a few stories. Yep, he's got a few stories of the learning curve that is high sec buyback.
Yeah. Oh, we're well up from the beginning numbers wise. So like, I can accept the duty happening.
Yeah. Ethar is saying use Red Frog to get it out. If they will,
not from a asset safety system, will they? And not for that much. I think it was like something like 15 million meters cubed. It's just so much that even the clicking of creating the contracts is not worth the time.
There we come full circle to the beginning of the show where I was talking about ISK squishing, and maybe TRIT squishing is the same, right? It's just too big. It is just too big. Ishka, the name of this is JitaRun, and the domain is JitaRun.com. Spot can't post any links in chat here. Hold on. You can in a second.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. JitaRun.com should be relatively easy to remember. That's why I chose it.
It is. But you're also now a VIP, and you can post that.
Cool. I wasn't a VIP before?
No. In the in the name of the guy that posted after you in chat right now, fuck nah. pretty sure that's not how he pronounces his name. I'm going to say Vakna. Vakna.
Oh
All right.
dear.
Thank you. Here, the real VIP posted it for you. Crota. Look at that. Okay. Any more questions for Spot before we let him go? The updated
Before I
one's
go
quick. Okay.
appease the puppy.
Let's go. All right, man. Thank you for stopping by. Let us know when you've gone, I guess, full launch. When are you expecting to go full launch?
Runner's launch was probably going to be Wednesday, maybe Thursday.
Okay.
And the full launch with sort of the financiers and the whole shebang, likely the next weekend. It was supposed to be today, but life lifed as it does.
It does. Hard. Cool. All right. We're going to look forward to it. There's a lot of nice feedback here in chat for you. I think everyone's excited. And let's see who wins the squabble for the high sec buyback.
I'm already winning. I checked the numbers.
You check the numbers. Well, you're the first one on
Yeah, I've
my
been
show.
keeping
I
an
don't
eye
know.
out.
The other guys asked, but they delayed. So you kind of just slid in there, Spot. Very good.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, they seemed like good guys. They were so quick on the launch. That was frustrating.
Oh, okay. Hey, there's a question for you in chat here. Will you be voting for Oz and CSM?
Pretty much you and you alone from what I've seen so far.
Ah, look at that. Oh, I saw you take apart some guy on my Discord for posting a CSM ad.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. I think once I had to close the thread, but hey, that's what mods are for.
I mean, I did ask him the same question 4 times.
I
And
saw
he
that.
didn't really understand.
Well,
And I kind of, yeah.
He's a young guy. Where can we find JitaRun contracts is the last question that Blue Gray is asking.
Just
Well,
keep
you
an
have
eye
to
on
be in the corp.
JitaRun.com or the Discord, and it will tell
Okay.
you.
Cool. Perfect. All right.
You can also
Spot.
apply to the corp now if you want. It's not going to stop you.
And the corp is called JitaRun.
JitaRun.com.
Okay.
Yep. Same website, corp, all same.
JitaRun.com. All right. Yeah. Not dot space. You didn't want dot space. Be kind of cool.
I thought about it. But
Yeah.
like everyone kind of, I don't know. It seems like some people love it, and then some people are like, what's a dot space? I just want to go to .com.
No, look, I went for the Oz dot space when I put my website up, and the feedback is so polarized. It's crazy. People are like, "Oh, that's awesome," because space, because Eve, and some people just go, "You're such a boomer." That sounds like MySpace, I think people go to MySpace. Okay.
I used to have a .me. That was cool.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. .me. .me sounds just kind of like self-centered, but yeah.
Well, it was for my like personal one, but then I had the conundrum of like, if it was my first name .me, but then what would my email be? Would it be me@myname.me?
Yeah. I don't know.
Excellent.
Hey, Philly Manis is in chat. He says he's the cash for trash owner. I already had the cash for trash prototype sitting around for 2 years and happened to come back to the game last month. Sounds very similar to your idea. Yeah.
I had the concept for years. Didn't actually lay down any code until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. Now people are posting.
I don't know.
People are posting links in chat now, but they can't. So I don't know what it is, a Fluid or Fraggle. But your name is Fraggle, and then the first name, the word in your sentence is rocks. So I'm just thinking Fraggle Rock now. That's how old I am. That's about as old as MySpace. Older than that, Jesus. Okay.
Not me all.
All right, we're gonna have to. It's just the Oz.rocks. Oh, okay, that's a good. I like that. Yeah. Okay. Before this gets completely out of hand, Spot, I'm gonna kick you out, and I'll see you soon. All right.